Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're doing something a bit different. We're not just learning German. We're really looking at how to learn it well. Our mission, basically, is to unpack this really interesting lesson plan. It shows you not just what words to use for family and friends, but why learning them this specific way is probably your quickest path to, actually connecting with people in German. Think of it like a strategic guide to getting comfortable talking, understanding the basic language, and even some culture.
Exactly. And that's something people often miss, I think. The huge value in starting with these sort of core ideas. They're not just lists of words to memorize, they are fundamentally the building blocks for all communication, all connection. When you can actually talk about your family, your friends, you're suddenly operating on a personal level, right? And that's incredibly motivating when you're learning. That amazing thing is how fast you can start making real sentences that mean something with just a few key bits of information. And that's, where the fun really starts. It's about real interaction.
Okay, right. So let's get into those essential words you'll need. Let's say you're in Berlin, you've met someone new, and you want to introduce your people. First, the big one, die family. That means, obviously, the family. Pretty straightforward to start.
The foundation.
Then you've got the core members. For father is their father. For mother, that's die Mutter. Then brother is der Bruder, and sister is die Schwester. And you'll notice those little words in front, dar and die. We'll come back to those.
Yeah, those are key.
Now, friends, this is interesting because German, like some other languages, makes a distinction here based on gender. A male friend, der Freund. But a female friend is die Freundin. See that extra in on the end?
That in ending is super common for feminine forms. Really useful pattern to spot early on.
Definitely. And if you're talking generally about a child, that's this kind of. And what if you want to refer to both parents together? That's die Eltern. So yeah, that's a really solid starting set for your immediate circle.
Absolutely. These are your first steps into talking about yourself, about your life, and you immediately bump into German's, characteristic gendered nouns. Der, die, das. It's not just decoration, it's baked into the word itself, like you said. Der Freund versus die Freundin. It shows right away how gender shapes even the most basic words. Honestly, getting a handle on these genders from the start, it's crucial because they affect articles, adjectives, possessives, everything down the line. It really unlocks much clearer communication later.
Right. And speaking of clarity, let's add two really useful descriptive words. For relationship status, you have verheiratet, which means married, ledig, which means single. So, if you wanted to say your father is married, you've suddenly got the vocabulary right there.
Simple but essential.
Okay. Now for maybe the first grammar hack, if you like, how to make these words yours. Possessive articles. In English, we just say my father, my mother, my friend. In German, that word my actually changes. It depends on the gender of the noun it's describing.
Ah, yes, agreement.
Exactly. So for a masculine noun like Vater, father, you use mein Vater. So you'd say, das ist mein Vater. This is my father. Simple. But for a feminine noun like mother, it changes. It becomes mine. Das ist meine Mutter. This is my mother. Hear that little E sound on the end. Meine.
Mine.
That little E is the key difference for feminine nouns here.
And getting mine and mine right is, it's a really fundamental step. It's not just about sounding correct. It's how you actually personalize what you're saying. It makes your sentences feel, natural and properly formed. That, as you said, it's our first real taste of this big German principle, grammatical agreement. Things have to match. Without it, people might understand you, but it won't sound quite right. It's a small detail, but it carries significant weight.
Totally agree. These little pieces really do fit together to make the whole picture. Okay, speaking of fitting things together, let's look at another area where German works a bit differently from English. Plurals. In English, we usually just stick an S on the end. Cat, cats, dog, dogs, easy, German. Well, German likes a bit more variety.
Understatement of the year.
Right. So to take brother, singular, der Bruder. The plural form is die Brüder. Notice two things. The O gets two dots above it. That's called an umlaut. And the word still ends in Bruder. For sister, singular die Schwester. The plural is die Schwester. That one's maybe a bit easier, just adds an N.
You're absolutely right. German plurals can seem a bit all over the place at first. There isn't just one rule. Sometimes it's adding E or er, like with Bruder. Sometimes N or N. Sometimes, like you saw, the vowel changes with an laut. Sometimes nothing changes at all. And this is precisely why it's so important to learn the plural form right alongside the singular noun. Treat them as a pair from day one. It kind of raises a good point, actually. how does paying attention to these small details, like getting the plural right, really empower your communication? It makes you clearer, more precise, it avoids confusion, and frankly, it shows you respect the language you're learning.
Good point. Okay, so we've got words, we've got my, we've got plurals. What does this actually look like in a conversation? Let's make it real. Here's a little dialogue inspired by our source material. Let's imagine Anna and Mark are chatting. Anna could start by saying, "Das ist mein Familie." See? Meine, because family is feminine. This is my family. Then she points, perhaps. "Das ist mein Vater." Heißt Peter. There's mine for Vater, masculine. This is my father. His name is Peter.
Makes sense. Using the rules perfectly.
Mark might then ask, very simply, "Und wer ist das?" Which just means, and who is that?
Natural question.
Anna replies, "Das ist meine Mutter." Sie heißt Julia. Again, mein Vormutter, feminine. This is my mother. Her name is Julia. Now, Mark asks something really useful. Hast du Geschwister? Geschwister, that's a great word. It means siblings, brothers, and sisters collectively. So he's asking, do you have siblings?
A very common, very practical question.
Anna says, "Ja, ich habe einen Bruder." Yes, I have a brother. Notice that einen Bruder, that einen is the form of a or an you use here with masculine nouns like Bruder in this specific sentence structure. Another pattern to watch for.
Ah, the accusative case sneaking in there.
Exactly. She continues, heißt Lukas. His name is Lukas, und du, and you. Mark then replies, "I have eine Schwester. I have a sister." Eine this time for the feminine Schwesters. He's 20 years old. She's 20 years old. And Anna finishes simply with schön, which just means nice or good.
Yeah, that little exchange, it's simple, but it shows so clearly how you use the vocabulary, the mind, the basic sentence structure. It all just flows together naturally. It's actually pretty amazing how much personal info you can swap in a short, friendly chat with just these, well, fundamental bits. It really proves that these basic building blocks are functional right away. You can have a real connection, even with fairly limited German. It's effective communication.
It really is. Shows you can start talking sooner than you might think. Now, the source material we looked at also had some smart ideas for practice activities to really make this stick. One was a listening nor reading task. The teacher might describe a family saying something like, "Das ist Maria. Sie hat eine Mutter und zwei Brüder." So this is Maria. She has a mother and two brothers. And your job as the learner would be to maybe draw the family tree or just jot down the info.
Right. Connecting the sound or the text to a visual or a written note helps lock it in.
Exactly. And another really good one was pair work. You'd team up with someone and ask each other questions like, "Hast du Geschwister?" Do you have siblings? Or maybe you have some pictures, and you point and ask, "Wer ist das?" Who is that? Then you practice introducing them. "Das ist mein Bruder," or "Das ist meine Schwester."
Yeah, those interactive tasks are key.
They really push you from just knowing the words to actually using them, right?
Absolutely. They bridge that critical gap between passive knowledge, stuff you recognize, and active use, where you're producing the language yourself. When you're, say, drawing the family or asking your partner questions, you're engaging different parts of your brain. It helps memory, it helps recall. It's how the learning really becomes sticky, you know, how you build the confidence to use it spontaneously.
Okay, great stuff. Now let's shift gears slightly to a really fascinating cultural insight that came up in the source. This goes beyond just the words and rules. It's about how people actually interact. It's a classic German distinction. Du versus Sie.
Ah, the big one.
Yeah. So most learners figure out pretty quickly. Du is the informal you. You use it with friends, family, kids, people you know well. And Sie always capitalizes the formal you. For strangers, people in authority in business settings, basically showing respect or maintaining distance.
Standard politeness levels.
But here's a specific cultural nuance that's really interesting. In Germany, once a friendship starts, even a casual new one, it's actually very common to switch to du and use first names quite quickly. I actually remember on my first work trip to Germany years ago, I accidentally used du with a rather formal, older colleague I'd just met. And whoops, you could feel the temperature drop just a little bit. It was a fast lesson.
Oh, I can imagine. Been there.
It really drove home how important that line is, but also how readily Germans often cross it once that friendly connection is made. It's not just familiarity. It feels like a deliberate step towards, real rapport.
That is such an invaluable piece of cultural knowledge, honestly. It goes way beyond just grammar. It's social etiquette, it's relationship building, knowing when it's appropriate to use du instead of sie, and when to comfortably switch to first names.
Yeah.
That's vital for navigating German social life smoothly. It really brings up a key question for you, the listener. Thinking about these nuances, how does understanding them let you connect in a more, authentic way? How does it help you avoid those awkward moments, like the one you described, and actually build deeper trust? It signals respect, cultural awareness. It means your communication isn't just understood linguistically, but it's also appreciated culturally.
What a great way to put it. Yeah, this has been a really illuminating deep dive. I think we've covered that core vocabulary, the family, the Vater, die Mutter, die Freund, and all those key terms. We also unlocked those really crucial grammar rules, especially the possessive articles, mine versus mine, understanding that gender agreement. And we tackled plurals like der Bruder becoming die Bruder.
Yeah.
A bit tricky, but manageable. And importantly, we saw how it all works together in that simple conversation between Anna and Mark. It really brought it to life.
Yeah, and beyond just the nuts and bolts of the language, we talked about the value of gaining that cultural competence too. That tip about do and see and using first names, that makes your learning so much more complete, doesn't it? And immediately useful in real situations. It's about grasping the whole picture, the people, the context, not just, conjugating verbs or memorizing nouns.
Absolutely. It's the whole package. So as we wrap up, here's something to think about, a final thought for you. We've seen how important navigating do versus see and first names is in German friendships. So how might paying close attention to similar kinds of subtle social cues, politeness levels, forms of address, even body language in any new language you learn? How might that open doors? How could it lead to deeper relationships, better understanding, far beyond just knowing the vocabulary list? Something for you to maybe mull over or explore the next time you're learning or speaking another language. Thank you so much for joining us on the Deep Dive.